To get people excited about Boost Mobile's new nationwide 5G network, we're offering unlimited talk, text, and data for $25 a month.
Forever.
Even if you have a baby.
Even if your baby has a baby.
Even if you grow old and wrinkly and you start repeating yourself.
Even if you start repeating yourself.
Even if you're on your deathbed and you need to make one last call.
Or text.
Right, or text the long-lost son you abandoned at birth.
You'll still get unlimited talk, text, and data for just $25 a month with Boost Mobile.
Forever!
After 30 gigabytes, customers may experience slower speeds. Customers will pay $25 a month as long as they remain active on the Boost Unlimited plan.
Forever.
Last week, we watched Rebel Moon 2.
And this week, we watch The Silence of the Lambs.
The connection is Anthony Hopkins. Wait, Han? Where's Sandro?
He's in my basement.
Bum, bum, bum.
Just kidding, he's right here.
Hello.
Oh.
Bazinga.
Welcome to Oldie But A Goodie. My name is Sandro. This one over here is Zach, and next to them is Han.
Hi.
Wow.
Hi, Han. How's it going?
I'm good. How are you? How's it going? How are you guys? Happy New Year.
Great. I love being Sandro today and having a great time watching a good movie for once.
It was good. Yeah, I agree. Thank you for not making me watch crap.
Wait, who am I meant to be?
You could be whoever you want.
I'm Zach, and I'm hello. I'm here, and I watched a movie, but it was too long.
No, it wasn't though. It really wasn't.
It's too long. I need my side scroller. What is the Subway Surfers?
Yeah.
I will tell you, I barely distracted myself with a game throughout this one.
That's impressive, honestly.
Yeah, I should get a medal.
You should. As a young person, definitely. Watching movies is hard.
I agree.
But this week we watched Silence of the Lambs because we got sick of watching shit, so we watched a good movie.
Pretty much.
How was Rebel Moon?
Ugh.
Yeah, I did want to start this off by asking Han, how much of Rebel Moon did you watch?
I don't want to answer that question.
Oh, certainly hope you haven't watched Rebel Moon.
I've seen bits and pieces, and that's all I want to see because
Okay.
That's more than enough, I think.
I think I have enough to go on.
Well, Anthony Hopkins was the best part of that, and it was pretty much the best part of this as well.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So I don't think you were missing out on much.
Because this week we are journeying into the psyche of a disturbed mind and watching The Silence of the Bar Sheep.
The bar sheep.
Silence of the Sheeps is what we're watching today. We'll do non-spoilers and then spoilers as per usual. But Zach, you picked this. You hadn't seen this one before, had you?
No, I have not seen this one before. Although I've heard a bajillion quotes from it. I've seen clips from it. I've absorbed a lot of media from this. So a lot of it wasn't too surprising to me.
Yeah.
But I was expecting Anthony Hopkins to be the, I'm not going to say main villain, because he kind of is, but he's one of the two villains, and I wasn't expecting there to be two villains.
He's just kind of not the puppeteer of everything, but he's I don't know how to explain it, but he's just being petty.
Yeah.
He's just doing whatever he wants, and he knows that he can get away with it, because
yeah.
what else is going to happen?
Yeah, for
They're
sure.
going to put him to death? No, he's too smart for that, and they need him, so he can just keep killing people and getting away with it, really.
He was the antagonist, not the villain. There we go.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But, the villain is barely in the movie as well. He's in it, but he's also barely in it.
I think people get confused between the three movies.
Yeah, there's also three of these. That's true.
I mean, the books came out in chronological order. So, it starts off with Will Graham catching Hannibal. That's, the first book. And then this one is obviously Hannibal's already caught.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the third one is them catching Hannibal again, I assume.
Because I was really curious and I looked up the sequel to this movie. I didn't go into it because I was like, oh, maybe Sandra's put that as one of the options for next week. So I was like, oh, I won't dig into it too much. But after watching this movie, I really wanted to watch the sequel. So, but by the sounds of it, it probably would have been a prequel.
It goes sequel and then prequel.
Yeah, so Red Dragon is the first book, and it's the last movie.
Yes.
I think that's the Ed Norton
But
one.
also Red Dragon was adapted in the 80s with someone else playing Hannibal Lecter. So they kind of adapted that and then made Silence of the Lambs as a sequel to that, even though they're not connected. And then they were like, but what if we then did a prequel
but with
to the Hopkins one?
With Anthony Hopkins.
Whoa. Yeah.
And then there's also a bunch of TV shows.
Yeah,
as well.
I like the Hannibal TV show because I like Mads Mikkelsen. That's it.
I'm sure we'll talk more about.
He's a goofy guy.
Oh yeah. Speaking of Rebel Moon and Jin Erso, yeah, her dad is
For
Hannibal.
real, he's
as
in
well.
Rogue One. Yeah.
That's right. So Zach, you hadn't seen this before, but I'm guessing I dropped my phone, but who cares? Starkey, leave it in. I'm guessing that you really enjoyed this one then.
Yeah. Oh, no, this revitalized my love of movies again. I don't know if I told you last week, but I did write down in my notes, what does it say? Rebel Moon made me hate films. That's the exact quote I wrote down in my notes.
Very oversaturizing. Like, you just feel very saturized. Like, you're like, I've absorbed too much media. When you, like, absorb bad media, but it's not, like, fun bad, you're just like, and I hate this thing that I love now because you ruined it, and I need to come back in a week and have a palate cleanser. Yeah. So I think this is a good palate cleanser.
My brain felt fat. Like it had been eating too much junk food and I felt sick. But this film was delicious.
It really is. Like, we took a week off in between 300 and Rebel Moon, so we were doing Zack Snyder movies for a month. So I'm glad that we're now doing
3 Zack Snyder movies in a row.
It's just too many movies. And we're getting into X-Men soon. Oversaturation is going to be so much. But yeah. Okay, so you...
But I've already watched the first one, and I'm excited to talk about the first one. So, yeah.
Cool. I also hadn't seen this before. I'd seen clips of it. It was so weird watching this because I felt like I was having deja vu because I've seen so much of this out of context and parodied and other things that I was like, I've seen this. No, I haven't.
Yeah.
But
it's always fun when you watch a movie and you're like, oh, that's where the trope comes from.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
When I watched Sunset Boulevard for the first time, I was like, oh, this is where like the whole noir genre comes from, essentially. And like, I'm ready for my close-up. That quote literally comes from that movie. So
that's what I was like when I watched, I think Zach, you had it as an option a while ago when I watched Black Christmas for the first time a couple years ago. There's a great scene in Wet Hot American Summer when they're running around the camp being like, the call's coming from inside the camp, which is a reference to Black Christmas. And I love it when that happens in movies. But yeah, I love this. Hadn't seen before. I loved it. Now, Han, you're here for many reasons. The first one being you had seen this before, but you got a very funny story, and you pitched this story to me, and that's why you are on the podcast, because Zach and I have allowed you to say the story on the podcast.
Okay. I don't want to throw my parents under the bus, but I'm...
Okay, in this context, I've already clicked together 2 puzzle pieces. How old were you?
I'm the youngest. I'm the youngest out of 3, and at a certain point, you kind of just like, well, we'll let the other ones raise the younger ones, right? So
yeah, that checks out.
Pretty much as soon as I could figure out how to use a TV remote, I was just plonked in front of the TV watching TV. So I don't know. I don't remember how old I was when I first watched this movie. I think I would have been about 5 or 6.
Jeez Louise, single digits? My God.
Exactly. Like, old enough to know how to use a TV remote. So, like...
Good
And the funny thing is... I watched all the bits that were just like the drama parts, so all the interpersonal like communication, and I was like, this is boring, and then I turned it off. So I missed all of the violence, all the gore, all the weird stuff.
And so you're not like traumatized from this.
Exactly. And then my mum, she just thinks it's funny. Like, I remember I told her like, a couple of years ago, and she was like, oh yeah, that did happen, didn't it? And I was like, and you weren't worried? She was like, natural consequences. And I'm like, excuse me.
Survival of the fittest, you know?
Anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
But this is one of my mom's favorite movies as well. But she loves crime thrillers, and then she'll complain that she can't sleep because she's anxious. And I'm like, I wonder what that could be making you anxious.
That's great.
So it's very funny.
That gives mums listening to murder podcasts energy right there.
Yeah.
So you hadn't watched this since then, though?
No,
but you'd watched the other ones?
I've watched parts of Red Dragon, the Ed Norton one, and I think I like that the most because I've watched Hannibal, the TV show, but I haven't finished the TV show.
Oh.
I think I don't even know because that's completely separate and so stylized and like dramatized from the books.
Yes.
And I read, the first book when I would have been like, I don't know, 13, 14, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, thank God, double digits.
Yeah. But like, it is, Zach, would you say that this is horror or crime?
Ooh. Yeah.
Like, it's in the middle, right?
I think it's like thriller. It's treading that balance.
Thriller is like the middle of those two, right? So it kind of makes sense. It is more like a crime thriller more than a direct horror, but there are like horror elements.
Yeah, it's kind of like Seven, where you're like, this hasn't quite crossed into the Saw horror area, but it's almost there. I feel that way about this one.
I think just because gore is in something doesn't make it horror.
No, I agree.
And I think for genres of thriller and horror, they have different themes.
Yeah.
Like for thriller, it is, I guess, like more of a perceived threat and kind of that overarching fear of, I guess, losing your autonomy and like invasion, like home invasion or like body invasion or like whatever like that. But like horror is usually more about, I guess, reflecting societal themes, usually.
Yeah, but there's also elements of the former as well.
For sure, yeah.
It depends where the stakes are, I guess.
Exactly. I think it's just too, like, in terms of modern movies, I think we dissect them a bit too much and try and put them into a box. And
I don't know what you mean. We haven't done 300 episodes of that.
So, like, I think it can be whatever it wants to be. And I don't like movies having to be defined by genre because it's like...
No.
Trying to define music by genre is so hard as well. So it's like...
What is Escape Room and why is it always my top Spotify rap genre?
Pink Pony Party.
I think that's the thing I did in the city the other day. Like, I did one of those.
Oh, yeah, you did.
I think it's really a matter of perspective. Because
That's true.
from the... Mayor Lady's daughter's perspective, it would have been a horror movie. I mean, if he got it from her perspective, it would have been a horror movie.
So you're saying the difference between a horror and a thriller is who the narrative device is, essentially?
Yes, it's perspective.
Yeah.
Fair. Actually, that's a really... I like that point a lot.
We just solved it.
Yeah.
We
there you go.
We solved... Everything's fixed now. We can all go home.
Yeah. And again, just like Buffalo Bill, she can be whoever she wants to be.
Now, okay.
We support our trans icon killers.
In a non-spoiler way, is she trans? Or does she just hate being a man? Because those are two very different.
About this in a non-spoiler way. I think this is
They literally cover that during the movie, I think,
because
right?
they said he just hates being a man.
Yeah.
But then, like, online, it's like a lot of...
No. I think they said they hate themselves.
Yeah.
Not necessarily that they hate being a man. And that's the insight that Hannibal Lecter says. He says they want to change, but they don't know how. And so they've chosen this path.
See, I interpreted that as he thinks that because he doesn't want to be himself, the only other choice is to be transgender.
Yeah.
And, like, change his whole identity in that way instead of, I guess, truly reflecting and changing himself as a man. Not that she can't be trans icon, pop off. Let's go, queen. Yes, murder them. Yes. Woo, go boss. But I saw it as, because they also say, he also says, I don't think that he is transgender.
But also it's the 90s and this book was written in the 80s probably, so who knows? Who knows? But I'm sure that reading the book will give you more insights into what's going on.
I doubt that very much.
Is there anything else non-sport? We haven't really talked about Jodie Foster. She's the main character. Clarice Starling.
She's great.
She's great. I agree. I thought she was good. I've always seen like her performance in this parodied, mainly just her accent in this parodied and other things.
It was a very it was kind of like Robert Pattinson trying to do an accent. Like an American accent. I just, does that make sense? It's kind of just an amalgamation of...
Oh, yeah.
Right, yeah.
It's a very aggressive accent. It's in-your-face accent. It's not subtle at all.
No, I didn't mind it, though. I was kind of like, this is fun.
No, it added to the whole thing, because that's what, intrigued Hannibal is why did this country bumpkin is an FBI agent, right? He wants to know the backstory, which helps us learn about her, and we learn about him, and there's this whole dynamic, and it's beautifully done.
It's like real character development, unlike 3.5 hours of...
Was she telling the truth, though?
That's the great thing. It doesn't fucking matter, does it?
You never know.
Don't know.
Because she tricked him. She got him anyway.
That's right. That's true. We'll have to watch the sequel TV show about her without Hannibal in it, called Clarice, that was cancelled immediately. That exists.
There's a TV show?
Yeah, it's a TV show about that character after this movie. Where she's just solving crimes.
No.
It got cancelled immediately.
Yeah.
So,
who wants to watch that?
No one wants to.
I would want to watch that if she had a Hannibal-esque character. It would be a Sherlock Holmes and what's-his-face? Moriarty situation, right?
Oh,
if it was one of those, yes.
A Killing Eve.
Well, I think that's just the second movie, though. I think
that's also just the Hannibal TV show as well.
Well, yeah. But yeah, no, good stuff. I liked her a lot in this as well. Is there anyone else really that we can talk about? We've kind of gone through everything that we can say without the spoilers.
I think the actor that played Jack Crawford did a really, really good job. Because it's he's the behavioral psychologist that is helping the FBI, I guess. Or is FBI not really sure what... I don't know how stuff works, so
I think he's just in charge of the psych ward. He's not necessarily FBI, right?
No, that's Dr. Chilton. So Dr. Chilton's a private doctor who...
Which character was this?
This is Jack Crawford. He's the one that's implied that wants to sleep with Agent Starling.
The boss man.
Yeah, so he's the head of the forensic psychology.
I'm confused. I thought that was the guy in front of... Anyway, the guy hitting on her, yes.
Not hitting on her, but it's they have weird sexual tension.
Oh, no, that guy. Yeah, I think he's the head of the FBI.
I think
he is the head of the FBI. I think the president is the head of the FBI. Actually,
the head of the department of the FBI.
Yeah. I think that the casting was really good for that.
Look, in Trump's presidency, no one's the head of the FBI. They're all fine.
It's gone. No That's FBI. Right. No That's FBI right. anymore. But I think it was really good because the whole point is, from her perspective, all men are monsters, right?
From
Starling's perspective.
Sure.
And here is this man who is accomplished and she looks up to, and he's still he's on that line where it's borderline kind of creepy behavior, but also it could be he could
just be old.
He could just be actually sees her as an ingenue and trying to help her get ahead, but it could be that he wants to take advantage of her. So I thought his, I guess what he brought to the role was he walked that line in a really, everyone is so ambiguous and you can never tell anyone's intentions. And I think all the actors really encapsulated that, and
they're all good. Yeah.
I didn't get a sexual connection between those two, but the manipulation part I did.
For sure.
Because he's I'm going to send you to talk to Hannibal Lecter instead of anyone else, and it's because you're a pretty young lady-esque, but I'm not going to tell you why I want to do that, because I actually want him to be curious in this murder case that's happening. He does kind of manipulate her, but it's is it malicious? Is it not? We never quite
exactly.
know.
And that's the parallels, I guess, between him and Hannibal, is that they're both manipulating her, but at least she knows that Hannibal is manipulating her.
Yes, I guess.
And so it's again, is he the monster, or are the other men in her life the monsters?
Well, that's one thing I liked about this movie a lot was how, like, obviously Hannibal sees people as pieces of meat because he eats them. However, he never treats her like she's a piece of meat. Everyone else does, though.
Yes.
Which I find very, very interesting. I'm like,
how ironic.
Very ironic. And that, yeah, like, specifically, like, Chilton, who's the head of the psychiatric ward or whatever, there's heaps of just, like, random people in this who treat her quite poorly.
Terribly, yeah.
And then it's like, but he's the cannibal, and he's the only one who doesn't see her as a piece of meat. And I'm like, this movie's got layers!
Yeah, because he's petty. He sees everything as, like, societal hierarchy, and if you tip the balance, then he's just gonna bite your face off, and literally.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
if you're rude to people, he'll kill you.
Yeah.
He'll eat your nose.
He'll eat your nose.
Swallow your tongue.
He'll incept you into killing yourself.
Yep.
Holy shit, that's crazy.
Yep.
That was so funny.
I wonder where they got the idea of Jigsaw from.
So true.
I don't know. I have no idea. That was me being
Fan
sarcastic.
theory, Hannibal is Jigsaw.
Whoa.
Oh, he escapes and then he becomes Jigsaw.
No, because Hannibal actually, like, doesn't want to teach people lessons. He's like, you fucked up this many times, I'm just gonna kill you because you're a boring person.
Here's the thing. I don't think Saw really does either. I think he's just an asshole.
In the first couple, I
think he's trying.
He's
and
like,
then after that, he's like
you're a drug addict. You're gonna kill yourself if you keep doing drugs, so I'm gonna kill you with the drugs.
Yeah, right? Like, he's more of a just statistic Satan punishment sort of... I don't know.
That's true.
Anyway, I need to rewatch Saw for this theory, I think.
Very Buddhist punishment in terms of, like...
so true.
You fucked up in this life. Okay, you don't get to be reincarnated for a little while. You go to mega super hell for a little bit.
Yeah, you get to be a snail for a bit, idiot.
Speaking of, is Buffalo Bill a Nazi, or is that just the Buddhist symbol?
I don't know.
What's going on in his house? Why is there swastikas everywhere?
That's the point.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
I saw them as the Buddhist symbol for peace, personally, because...
But it also is... It could be implied that it could be both as well.
Yeah, I think that's the point, is it's whatever you want to see, I guess. And I think that what tracks with his character is that he is wanting to change, and I guess, like, Buddhist beliefs are all about peace and reincarnation and being true to yourself.
He's having a big identity crisis, and which is interesting because of the whole butterfly thing, right?
True.
He wants to change from the thing to a butterfly. It's interesting.
So is he trans or not? I just want to know.
Well, we'll answer that right after we rate the movie. An oldie or a goodie, and then we can get into some more spoilers to really delve into that. Han, you're the guest. Are you going to give this an oldie or a goodie?
I will give it Death Moth head. That's a thumbs up. Goodie. Goodie.
Is that allowed?
No, that's a death moth's head. You have to interpret it, Sandro, as either it's a goodie or an oldie, right?
Yes, it was a goodie. I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. I thought it held up.
Whoa, that's crazy. I'm sure no one else is going to give it a goodie.
Oh my god, Zach, what are you going to give it?
I'm going to give it a goodie.
Whoa!
Yeah, spoiler alert. This was a really good film, and partway through the film, I was like, damn, this opening is crazy. I love this movie. Let me check how much movie I've got left. Oh, 15 minutes of the movie left? Shit. Unlike Rebel Moon, where I checked every, 10 minutes if the film was over yet.
Yeah.
Like, how much more is that?
I literally got through, an hour and 40 minutes of this movie or whatever it was, and then was like, oh shit, the movie's nearly done? That's why I was looking up the sequel and considering watching it, because I was just like, I want more of this. But the sequel had 70% less than this one, so I was like, ooh.
It's got a bit less.
I think people don't talk about the sequel, because I hadn't heard of it. I'd heard of the prequel, but not the sequel. I didn't even know there was a sequel.
Someone mentioned it at my work when I said I was going to watch this, so I was like, oh, maybe it's good. Apparently...
I think some people like it.
Yeah, it might be a bit more rough than this one.
Suffers from the sequel
Well, I think the book is...
Trauma.
I don't want to get too much into it because I know the behind-the-scenes lore, but Jodie Foster did not return because the book is significantly worse than the other books.
Valid.
Fair.
Sure.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to give this a goodie as well. I thought this was excellent.
We didn't ask.
Oh.
Sandra, are you rating this an oldie or a goodie?
I don't want to answer that now.
Yeah, we don't care anyway. All right, so going into the...
All right, now let's do some taglines. It's time for taglines.
Taglines! I forgot those existed in a world where Netflix didn't exist.
That's right. Back when they had to sell movies.
Whoa! Instead of just shoving them on a service and saying, there you go.
Being like...
Eat your slop.
Exactly.
Eat your AI-generated slop.
Yeah, eat your Chris Pratt, Millie Bobby Brown Netflix original.
Ooh!
No, Zach, it's going to be awful.
No.
But it's going to be just as awful as the 12 other ones that I already enjoyed.
Oh, thank you, capitalism. I want my AI slop, please.
Yeah.
Thank you, Netflix.
Can I have another bowl of slop? Thank you, AI.
Please, Starfer Brothers, may I have some more? That's a Stranger Things, guys.
Taglines?
Taglines. These are from IMDb. Go give them a thumb up or a thumb down. Number 1. Prepare yourself for the most exciting, mesmerizing, and terrifying 2 hours of your life.
Boo. Thumbs down. Don't like it.
That sounds like a ad for a roller coaster, like a like a theme park.
Or a porno.
True. 2 hours?
Damn.
It's a good one. It's a banger.
That's a long time.
Yeah. All right. 2 thumbs down?
Yeah, thumbs down.
How
about this one?
Great.
To enter the mind of a killer, she must challenge the mind of a madman.
Ooh.
That's kind of fun. I like that one.
But he's also a killer.
Yeah, but he's...
Yeah, but he's also a madman.
I mean, like, is he either? Truly, what is killing someone, actually, if you think about it?
Yeah,
really, from his perspective, I'd say he's the good guy, right?
Exactly. Right.
From his perspective, this was a family rom-com.
Exactly. We'll just have to watch the prequel, Hannibal Rising.
So true.
From 2007. The prequel. The fourth one.
Isn't that he has like superpowers in that one or something?
From all I know is he's a teenager and then he's killing Nazis and eating them.
Fuck it up, I guess.
I think
like,
that's what that
Slay,
movie is.
Let's go.
Jeez Louise. Okay, I give whatever Sandro said a thumbs down and that tagline a thumbs up.
Agreed.
This one. May the silence be broken.
Okay.
It's got like 3 exclamation marks after it, so that's why I read it.
Like, no, because it was the opposite of that. That was the whole point, is that there is no silence, right?
Yes.
Well, there could have been. It's up to interpretation. Is the lamb silent or not? Because she never answers the question at the end there, right?
True.
So, but I like that it's left somewhat ambiguous, like a couple of things in this movie, and I think that's good because it's your interpretation, because it's somewhat art. But this tagline isn't as good as the previous one, I think. So I'm going to give that a shaky.
It should be the opposite. There should be a not or a...
Yeah, this feels like very marketing team sort of thing.
That's right.
It's like, yeah, we get the gist. Here it is.
I mean, to be fair, though, like, the marketing of this, the poster is great and iconic.
Oh, the poster looks amazing.
But also, the poster, you're not going to know what the fuck this movie is if you look at that poster.
No. But you look at that poster, you go, what the fuck is happening in that?
Excuse me, my autism pattern recognition, I'm like, thriller.
I mean, yes.
Yeah. Like, it...
Thriller with themes of sexual, weird sexual tension undertones. That's what I get from that.
Right? Like, I think it does a pretty good job, actually,
exactly.
if you think about it. And also the little death moth, you know?
Yeah.
That's a good touch. And it's like over her mouth, so it's silencing her, which is kind of a theme throughout the movie, is like masculinity oppressing her, except...
Exactly.
That's right.
It's not, but it's crazy.
It's a great poster because you watch the movie and then you fully understand the poster.
Yeah.
Which is very cool.
I was like...
I rate the poster a thumbs up.
Yeah.
I was like, I know what the lambs are, but why are they being silent? And then, spoilers, we find out why they're being silent.
That's true.
And I'm like, okay, I get it now.
Yeah.
Damn.
That was poignant. I get it.
Is she the lamb? Damn. Is Hannibal Lecter the lamb? Damn.
Oh my gosh.
Well, he's the wolf, right?
In the sheep's clothing.
Is the dog the lamb?
The dog?
Thank God it isn't.
But where was the Jesus robot? That's what I wanted to know.
Jimmy.
That's a distant prequel.
Is Anthony Hopkins what is he doing now besides Rebel Moon? Like what's
He was in Transformers 5.
Is that the monkey one? The one where they're all monkeys?
Let's never talk about Transformers 5 unless we're doing a full review of it.
I don't know what he's doing.
I've never seen a Transformers movie, and I've seen one Fast and Furious movie, and for some reason in my head they're the same franchise.
Fast and Furious is way better.
Hurts me you saying that. As an avid fan of Transformers, the problem is you're right, and that hurts the most.
Family.
But at least Fast and the Furious is self-aware, so they're better.
They put my boy Luda in space.
Agreed.
They put him in space.
Yeah.
All right, spoiler time.
Was that all the taglines? That was the last tagline?
That's all the taglines.
Oh.
I think, is 5 the ones with knights, or is it the one just after the one with knights?
What was the one with the monkeys?
5 is there isn't one with monkeys. Is that?
I went to the zoo and they were having an ad for Transformers, and there was a gorilla Transformer.
The Pete Davidson one.
And I was like,
yeah.
I didn't know there was a new Transformers movie.
That's the Pete Davidson one. That's the most recent one.
Is that number 5?
Yes, which is actually pretty good.
Yeah, that's like a reboot. It's not connected to Michael Bay's shit.
It's a requel. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a reboot. Thank God that they rebooted the franchise, because Jesus Christ.
Number 5 is the one with knights, and it's Anthony Hopkins, and then he's got C-3PO, who also the watch that killed Hitler was a Transformer.
Yes, I was going to bring it up because Anthony Hopkins, you mentioned before, he was killing Nazis in the weird prequel
Hannibal
thing.
Rising,
well,
yeah.
There's a Transformer that supposedly killed Hitler in 5.
It's all connected.
It's all connected.
So he's just doing voice acting stuff now?
Oh, probably, yeah. He's probably doing a lot of voice acting work.
He played Freud recently in that Sigmund Freud movie. He's just doing like art shit and then easy money shit.
Yeah.
He's probably doing whatever the fuck he wants.
As he should. Make that check. Yes. Let's go.
The time has finally come. It has been 2 years in the making, but finally, I'm Sally McSeller, I'm an American, and I'm here to tell you that Sandro and Zach have finished the Friday the 13th series over on Patreon. They've done all 12 movies, and they're wrapping it up this month with the brand new episode on Friday the 13th, 2009, the remake produced by Michael Bay. Here's a clip.
It annoyed me because they had the rehash of the plot at the very start. You had that little cutscene where we see Mum die.
Yeah, they reshoot the ending of the original movie with Mum.
And then later on they have a character talk about it and repeat the intro again. And I was like, I know, you just showed me that movie. You don't need to tell me again.
No, but Zach, it was funny in that scene because they were sitting around a campfire talking about it. So it was meta, actually. Well, that sure sounds like it was a fun review. A fun watch? I don't know. You'll have to listen in to find out if it's a good one at patreon.com/Oldie But A Goodie pod, where you can get all 12 episodes of the Friday the 13th mega series by Sandro and Zach. So many highs and probably even more lows. You can also get ad-free episodes up there. That's patreon.com/Oldie But A Goodie pod. And if you just want the Friday the 13th series, it's currently all in one collection, a little bit cheaper than usual, so go check that out. I've run out of music, so I'm gonna go now. I'm an American. Yeehaw! Alright, time for spoilers. Spoiler warning. We've already kind of spoiled. Who cares?
Sorry.
Spoilers
My
time.
bad. I'm not good with labels.
Zach, we're big connoisseurs here on the podcast.
Of what?
Yeah, that's my question.
You can't just be a connoisseur.
We're big connoisseurs of the font.
The ice cream.
What?
You are an ice cream.
Ah, the font. The font. No, the font.
You are a connoisseur of fonts.
Yes, we are connoisseurs of fonts, and I've got to pose this question to you, Zach Adams. Did you like the font of this movie?
Let me bring it up again. Let me have a look at it.
I didn't. as soon as it started, I was like, nah, I'm not a fan. Is
it the same as the poster?
No, it's like black and yellow.
It was like impact font, and then it had like an outline on it, but it was like slanted. I don't know how to explain it. Like, it wasn't in a straight line. It looked like it had been hand drawn.
Oh, yeah. I remember this because I was like, oh, that's really weird. No, it was really weird.
It was weird.
It was weird.
I didn't like it. Didn't care for it.
Didn't like it.
Made me uneasy.
Well, that's the point, though, because this is a horror thriller.
Yeah, maybe it was effective then.
Yeah, exactly. Did you ever think about that?
Yes.
Fair.
It wasn't the worst choice we've seen, but it was weird.
Yeah.
I agree.
That's probably a slight negative I have. The only other negative I have of this movie is the score is mid. And that's just because it's by Howard Shore, and his scores are always fine.
It's like fine. It's like not. It's not boring. Like, there's definitely bits where it like does impact emotionally how you feel a little bit.
Yeah.
There's no theme. There's no Hannibal Lecter theme. I want a theme for him.
Boo! I hate that. I hate that idea.
So
I want
you want him to be Michael Myers?
Yeah. No, that's what I thought of, and that sucks. I hate that. So
just something like
I think he had like a little theme. It was like tingly, like there were like bells, tubular bells.
That's the
for my Exorcist fans out there.
Yeah. Look, I will say it's good that the like music didn't hurt the film.
Yeah,
because the worst thing you can have is it actually actively hurts the film.
Rebel Moon.
And like, if your worst critiques of a movie are you didn't like the font and the music was okay, then it's probably a pretty good movie.
Yeah, right. Like, I think the music is, you're poo-pooing it because the film was so good overall, it makes those things worse, like the font and everything. But I can forgive a font because of the time at which this movie was released, where editors just ran wild and did whatever the fuck they wanted for films.
The 90s.
Sure.
It is the 90s.
So I'll forgive the music. I thought the music was fine. If not, pretty good.
Yeah. I liked the music too. I thought it added enough without taking away from anything.
That's fair.
It wasn't like the best I've ever heard, but it added to the movie without subtracting from the movie, which is a net positive, which is good.
Yeah. All right. Well, then getting into spoilers properly, we could go through the plot, but it's quite procedural, so I think we're probably fine just to talk about some key points. But we'll start off with Clarice Starling, FBI trainee. She's she's like enlisted to go and chat to Lecter because the boss guy, who's Jack Crawford, who is from the TV show Hannibal, Hannibal's queer lover in the TV show Hannibal. Is that not the plot of the Hannibal TV show?
Will Graham.
Oh, they're different people.
So the FBI agent is Will Graham, and he's all like, has that type of empathy where you like can put yourself in anyone's like position.
Oh.
So he's like actively putting himself.
He's an empath.
Yeah, he is. Literally, it's in the book. He's an empath. So he's like putting himself in the context of these killers to like see what they would do.
That's cool.
And
can't everyone do that though?
Okay, I know, but this was when men couldn't have empathy. Like in the 80s, they're not allowed to have it. So
yeah.
No, Will Graham and Hannibal are gay lovers in the TV show.
Not Jack Crawford.
Also, they're not. It was just queer baiting, and because Mads Mikkelsen was a producer, I'm pretty sure, and he was like looking over the script, and he's like, "Why aren't we like?" At the end, he's like, "Are we gonna kiss though?" Like, and apparently, I don't know if it's the director, but one of the producers was like very homophobic about it, and everyone was like, everyone was like. But the whole setup has been that they're like, will they, won't they? Can we just kiss once? Well,
the answer is won't they, clearly.
Yeah, exactly. Nah.
Not allowed.
No, Jack Crawford is the head of the FBI, and he's basically Will Graham's boss.
Okay. So he's the boss in all of the stories then, essentially. Okay.
He's the head of the forensic psychology department or behavioral psychology department of the FBI.
Yeah.
So they are profilers. if you know what that is that they build psychological profiles for.
Yeah, they go on Facebook. They put their in
They're like, give me your phone number so that I can hack your account, please.
Yeah.
I'll Venmo you.
I'm going to hit that with a solid... That was just a bit tish.
Send me $500 in iTunes gift cards.
Exactly. But yeah, she goes and chats to Lecter, all of the things. I like her character a lot because she's like, I find like if this was made now, and I've had this problem with a lot of procedural crime horror movies, is they're too keen,
pushy,
and they're too much like, I want to do the job, I want to do the job, I want to do the job.
She's a rookie and she wants to do it, but I think it's different because she knows she's earned that. By she was top of her class. She's like already taken an interest with Jack Crawford, and like basically I think she like interned for him or something, or there's some illusion that she's like helped him with work before.
Yes.
So it's not that she is like too keen, it's that she's earned that position and she wants to do that.
She doesn't break the rules to do this.
Yeah, that's a really cool thing as well.
Which is a trope that has been very common, where they'll be like, I know better than the stupid men out here. I'm gonna break the rules. I'm gonna do what I was told not to because the men are so stupid.
Because no one's media literate anymore, so this would be too subtle for people to understand the feminism behind this and the insidiousness of the patriarchal constraints that are shown in the film.
Oh, no, but it is good in this film because there's like a moment where he's like, oh, we can't speak in front of the woman here.
Yeah.
And she gets real fucking mad at that, as you would.
Valid.
Yeah, exactly.
And he was like, oh, shit, I kind of fucked up there. I'm sorry about that.
Just on that scene as well, and he only apologizes when they're in private because he knows better.
Yeah.
Like, he knows better and he knows that he embarrassed her and put her on the spot and made her feel small. And he's like, well, you know that I had to do that because you know how small cops are. So I'm like, sorry for being misogynistic, even if I was, but I like wasn't trying to, okay? And she's like, no, but you were though. Like, you did it.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I guess. And she's like, at that point, I was like, ew, this guy sucks, actually. Like,
he kind of does, yeah.
He's not the worst, but that was not great. That made me mad.
That's the point, is that all these men are monsters. Like, and they just are monsters in different way.
Yes, what I learned from this film is all men are bad and all women are good.
Exactly. That's how it is. And that's why Bill is... We stan her. She is trans icon. She can do no wrong. She's murdering people. Okay, she wants to make a sick outfit.
For sure.
I stan Princess, the dog. I was very glad they survived.
Oh, precious.
Oh, love the dog. There is also like even the character, like I think her name is it Catherine, the one who's in the well.
Yeah.
There's that scene right at the end where she goes to help her and she's telling Catherine to be quiet and stay there, and Catherine's like, no, I'm very rich and powerful, you have to get me out of here right now. And I was like, I kind of don't like any characters in this movie aside from our main character, really.
Yes, no, she's just like, fuck you, help me out of here. Like, she doesn't want to be stuck in the fucking hole anymore.
Exactly. From her perspective, she would be like, no, I've seen what this person's capable of.
Yes.
Who the fuck cares if you're one FBI agent?
Yes.
Don't leave me alone.
For sure.
I like your self-preservation would kick in.
It would definitely, and like, it definitely, like, she's holding the dog hostage, which is also, you know, not a super nice thing to do, but obviously in that situation, it's a pretty good thing to do with this bad guy who's got you in as well, but like...
A pretty good thing to do, Sandro? Is that the opinion you have?
You're saying that animal abuse is good? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
We
wanted the dog to die?
No. Cancelled.
I think someone's going to be locked up in a second.
Oh, no.
I think you want to eat the dog, you sicko.
Well, I think it's to show the parallels between the dehumanization of his victims and like the fact that, yes, she's using the dog Precious as a bargaining chip to get herself out of there because he's so disconnected from humans and seeing them as people that she knows that if she has Precious, that he will humanize her because he humanizes the dog. Even the name Precious.
Yeah.
Like, it's probably the dog is so important to him that he called her precious. Like,
for sure. Yeah, for sure.
It's very...
Well, I think he's deliberately dehumanizing everyone. He's trying to, because there's that scene where she's like begging for her life earlier, where he's watching, and you can see he's getting a bit riled up at her desperation, right?
Yeah. For sure.
Because he's trying to dehumanize her so he doesn't feel guilty about it. But he's, like, struggling with that.
It's so, it's so well done. The way that Ted Levine, I think is how you say his name, the way that he plays Buffalo Bill is great as well.
Good, yeah.
His voice is fucking weird. It's too deep.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know how to, like...
It's so uncanny. It was like... I couldn't tell if it was a voice changer or that's natural.
I don't know, but
No, I think it's natural. I think he was doing a great job.
It was just like something slightly off, like not in the way that you can just tell that it's being put on, like it's fake. But not in a way that anyone would notice. You'd just be like, oh, that's someone's voice, but it's just like slightly, you know, when like a beat is slightly off or there's like a tempo slightly off and you're like, there's something I'm uncomfortable with here, but I don't really know what it is.
It's very...
Sandro.
Oh my god, it's...
Sandro, would you fuck me?
Arnie. It's Arnie.
I'd fuck me.
Why are you playing him as Arnie? Why are you playing Buffalo Bill as... No, that was terrible.
It puts the lotion in the basket.
It puts the lotion on the skin, or else it gets the hose.
So good. He's very, like, David Lynch vibes where you're like, I'm uncomfortable, but why?
Yeah.
Which is good. He's in a movie called Joyride with Paul Walker where it's like a bunch of young adults prank a truck driver and then the truck driver chases them around town. Oh, is that the
Bob's Burger?
Yeah, they
there's like a Christmas episode of Bob's Burgers where there's a trucker that tries to like run them off the road.
Just tries to kill them. So it's like a horror movie, but the killer is this unseen trucker driving a massive truck. That's a very fun movie, but he plays the voice of the trucker.
Got it.
And it's so creepy. He's just a very creepy dude. I like him.
He does it well.
It's a vibe.
But no, he's just a good actor.
I mean, that as well.
You don't know if he's creepy. Sorry, that was really bad.
You don't know if he's creepy or not. He could be a cool guy for all you know. He's a very good friend of mine, actually. We swap maths.
I just love, like, the set for the basement as well. It's like, the lighting, everything
it's gross.
Is just...
It's so grimy.
Yeah.
Yeah, his hoarder house.
Damn, you live like this?
Yeah.
Such hoarder house vibes.
That's right.
So, like, did he kill the old lady living there, or did he actually buy the house?
Oh, I think he was the son of the lady.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah, right? Like, and the whole thing is the first girl kept going over to visit the mum.
Yes.
Which he would, like, you know, knew her, knew thing, and then his mum died, and maybe he killed her, maybe not, like, you know.
Who knows?
Yeah. Who knows?
But I believe it's the secret implication is that he is the son of this other lady. And, yeah.
Okay. I can see that. I liked as well how whenever there's that scene where he abducts Catherine, which, by the way, I think he did that. It was like reminiscent of some other serial killers.
Oh my god, I have in my notes, literally, this was just before I stopped taking notes because I was so invested in the movie.
Yeah, right.
I was like, lol, he's just Ted Bundy, because Ted Bundy used to just wait outside his car with like a fake cast on and be like, will you help me put my groceries into my car? And obviously, like, everyone now is like, if a grown man asks either children or women for help, you turn and walk away, because if they need help, they will go to another man to ask them for help if they actually need help. Yeah.
Oh, thank God I'm a man and don't have to worry about that.
This 20-something-year-old woman, and she's holding groceries and her cat's meowing at her to, like, come in and give her dinner. And then he's, like, fumbling around with a couch, trying to get it in the back of the van. And I'd be like, nah, I'm good, actually.
Yeah.
Call someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should have planned this out better.
Yeah, is this your job? Get a better job, guy. Like, come on. This is 1991 by this movie release. You can go out and get any job. You can just walk into a building and get a job.
Equal rights.
That's how that works.
For the men. Equal rights for the men.
But yeah, I like though, like how he's like, just before he like knocks her out, he asks what size is.
Yeah.
Which is so like, obviously he needs a certain size to skin them and then wear their skin. It needs to fit him. So he would ask that.
Well, the implication is he fetishizing her sexually?
Oh, maybe.
And
I don't know.
Like,
I don't think
no,
he
he's
is.
not, because he just wants to be a woman.
Yeah.
Like, well, does he? I don't know.
I don't know.
It's vague, and it's like...
No, he wants to change, but he's interpreting that as, I want to be a woman and not a man, right?
Yes, exactly. So it's implied, yeah, he's asking her size, like her dress size, and you're like, oh no. Like, the alarms go off, you're like, this is gonna be a sex crime. I'm gonna watch a sex crime happen.
Yeah.
But it's not. He just wants to...
No, it's just a regular crime.
He just wants... I mean, it's probably worse, honestly.
Oh,
because
yeah.
he's gonna murder her and
What?
skin her.
Yes.
So, that's pretty bad too.
I guess.
But it's less creepy than being like, I like fat girls sexually, and I'm only gonna harass fat girls.
It's less icky, I would say. I don't know if it's less bad.
Yeah.
I mean,
you know?
Murder is pretty bad.
Depends who it is.
All right, Sandro, we're not talking about murdering dogs. Your new thing happening here, right?
no.
Yeah, animal abuser.
Oh, gosh. The views and opinions of everyone do not impact me because I hate the dogs.
Whoa!
No, I don't actually. At all. I liked the editing in this movie as well. I want to bring that up. The movie's edited so, like, it's slow, but the scene transitions are so tight and, like, you get all the information. It's just so, everything's great. The cinematography is great as well. There's that one scene where, I think it's, like, right after the murder, right when she's in the van, the way that it then edits to cutting back to Jodie Foster, it's just so smooth and it just goes together.
There are a lot of good cuts. I remember there's like a scene where, Jack Crawford's talking to Jodie Foster, Agent Starling, and he's like explaining who Hannibal is. And then we cut to she's at the mental hospital talking to Dr. Chilton, who's the head of the, I don't know,
psych ward, yeah.
the orderlies or the psych ward or the hospital or whatever. And he's finishing the sentence. And I'm like, oh, I eat that. I'm like,
It's good.
I love that.
It's good.
It's really good.
I like the whole like dungeon scene and the introduction as we like see him in this like glass, but we don't see the glass yet. So we're not sure what's like separating him, especially after he's repeatedly said, don't go near the glass or whatever, and then she has to go near it, and I was like, whoa.
I think it was really interesting from, like, her reactions to being put in dangerous situations, because the whole time that we see her at Quantico, which is the FBI headquarters, and all the other agents are, like, training around her, and they're doing basically, like, drills and stuff, but they're, like, you know, fake drug busts, fake raids, fake, you know, hostage situations, fake, there's like fake people speeding and they have to like drive them over. But she's the only one that we see like of the FBI agents that's actually put in dangerous situations. And I think it's like she has to trust her instincts in that moment that she's been taught what she knows, but also like intrinsically how she behaves as a person too. Because it's like, you can learn that stuff, but you can't predict how you're going to behave in like a dangerous situation. So I think we see that.
Like if you're in some killer's base and then he turns off the lights. Like...
Precisely. We see that and in that moment, but also when she meets Hannibal for the first time and he's like, can I see your ID, please? And she's like, yeah. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah, no, definitely. Anthony Hopkins in this, we haven't actually said how good he is.
He's great.
No, I was about to get to him and say, let's talk about him.
Yeah.
Because that's what the movie's about.
But I was going to mention, it's a very, it reminds me of Smaug and Bilbo, actually, which is a weird thing to say here. But it...
Okay, yeah.
But you get the... let me explain, because the whole thing is he goes in and then Smaug like smells him or whatever and is like, hey, I can't see you, but I know you're there, thief. And then they like have a talk.
Yeah.
And it's literally like she's talking to a dragon right now, where she literally does the best that she can, but like it's at least in the fantasy novels, obviously, it's like a really tricky thing to do that. Talking with a dragon and not fucking it up, right? But it's a sort of similar situation here where it's like, it's a very tricky thing to do because he's had years upon years of literally psychoanalyzing people.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
And all these things. And she has to deal with that while also being a trainee, while also being set up, while also not knowing what to do,
layers.
Right?
And
exactly.
It's like in your normal life, like if you have a bad conversation, the worst that you can do that is the outcome of that is maybe you're embarrassed. Maybe you lose a friend or someone stops talking to you. This is, she could get murdered. Like that is...
Yeah.
Again, I said your self-preservation would kick in at a point and you'd be like, I don't want to do this. So you'd be fighting your like nervous system to try and push past that and be like, yeah, everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And that's why first responders normally are so good at their jobs. If they're good at their jobs, is because they can push past that and like compartmentalize it.
Yeah.
So I liked watching her kind of develop that skill. I think that was really, really cool.
I agree.
It was. She was thrown into the deep end, you know.
100%.
Yeah.
I'd be terrified in all of those situations.
And it's also, she also has to be open to him because they need information from him.
Yeah.
So she's got to not only not step into the booby trap, but also convince the booby trap to help them, right? Like,
for sure. No, for sure. It's interesting as well because, like, again, with a lot of other movies in this, and probably even with Red Dragon and the Hannibal TV show, is like they eventually become friends. The person who they're using, or at least there's like some sort of respect there.
Yeah.
Which, I mean,
frenemies.
Starling kinda at like near the end of this kinda respects him, but they're never really like chummy the way that you would in like another movie similar to this.
I'd say she like respects his intellect and like how smart he is, and she like gets to know him more, whereas he's definitely like fascinated by her.
Definitely,
He likes her more than all the other shit stains coming in telling him he's a piece of shit and being like trotting around with their dicks in the air, right? She's more grounded. She comes from a grounded background. She's honest. She's not like trying to deceive him actively, right?
Yeah. Which is good, for sure.
So he finds her way more interesting than all these other fuckboys coming through, right? You know?
And I liked all of her backstory as well. We cut to, like, random flashbacks, and, like, the funeral scene was great, where you're, like, not sure what is going on, and then it's like, what? Oh, it's a flashback. We're halfway through a flashback.
Oh, speaking of transitions, because, she, like, opens a door and walks through, but then we walk into a funeral situation.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the fuck's going on? And then you see the dead body, and it's like, wait a minute, who's that? And then it turns the camera and you see her, but she's like super young, and it's like, oh shit, it's the death of her dad. And it's a really well transitioned scene. I like that one.
I like that. And like just after that scene as well, they perform an autopsy on, they find one of the victims, and they are performing like an autopsy or an observation, and she's the only agent there that actually like treats the victim like a person. Everyone else is treating the victim like a piece of meat, and they are like, oh, it's so stinky now, and oh, we just take photographs, and it's like, that's still a person. That was a life that was taken. And I think people in certain professions definitely do lose a bit of empathy.
Of course.
Give her 15 years tops, and she'll be doing the exact same thing.
But I think that's why I liked it, because she never lost any of that. These traumatic things are happening to her and the people around her, but she still has that empathy and that connection with other people, and I think that shows in the film.
It's a good perspective for us to have, because she is like the bridge between us and that side of the world.
Exactly.
I like the framing of the autopsy or observation scene as well, because we don't see the body until the final shot of the scene. We see, obviously all the characters are reacting, and obviously we kind of know what it would look like because we've seen photos and, our brain can kind of put it together a little bit. But, the first shot we see of the body is the face, and then which is so cool, the first shot we see is the face to, I guess, not humanize, but to allow us to be like, oh, that was a person. Because, usually the first shot would be, here's the whole body, dead body in a body bag. Whereas, with this movie, it really, hides it. And I thought that was just so good. Just so well done. Keeping the, because, with a lot of true crime stuff, the focus is on murder, fuck yeah. Whereas, with this, it's, even though it is fictional, it's still being respectful to the dead people.
It is, and it's also
which is cool.
not in I'm not saying obviously I don't condone murder, but it's also being respectful in the ways that some people do have psychological issues that cause them to be violent. I'm not saying that that's the case with everyone, but it is a trope that is in horror movies, it's a mental illness the whole time. But this is okay, these could be the possible reasons as to why actually someone could be mentally not okay and why they would be, I guess, acting in this way as well.
Yeah.
So it was I thought it was very holistically empathetic
for sure
to everyone.
I would say this is different from a true crime sort of situations. I guess it is, but true crime's whole focus is on the mystery. The whole point is it's a morbid puzzle.
The exhilaration of it.
For sure.
For not only the people involved to figure out, but for the viewer to also try and figure out.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is I'm watching a show and there's all these things, but I'm also trying to figure out this puzzle and maybe I can figure it out before the police do or whatever. There's that whole aspect to it. Or you're just watching it and being oh, that was a cool puzzle that they solved and I got to watch that. It's more of a puzzle with a morbid aspect to it.
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Whereas this is someone's being killed. It's a murder.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely.
There are dead people and we need to stop this killer from killing.
Yeah. All right, back to Hannibal. Let's get back to Hannibal.
I want to say Anthony Hopkins was so good in this. He just gave so much by giving nothing. It was great.
Yeah.
There's so few actors that could do that. And I think that this is one of his biggest roles that everyone's we just want you to do this over and over and over again now, actually.
He's at that weird point in his career where everyone thinks he's a bad actor because he's too good of an actor in other things.
Yeah, exactly. It's once you've done enough and proven yourself, why wouldn't you just take easy gigs?
Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah.
He did a movie called The Father where he's an old dad or whatever, and he's great in that. A
bit like a Nicolas Cage situation.
Potentially, actually. A good point.
That's different. That's very different.
Obviously a bit different because Nicolas Cage goes he embraces his crazy side, right? To lean into that.
I think he just says yes to everything.
Yeah, he's a yes man. But it's similar to that where I know I've seen Nicolas Cage act. I know he can when he want to.
Yeah, but is he a good actor?
Yes.
I would say
sometimes.
So. There are movies where he has acted well, and I would even go so far as to say good.
Yes. I agree with this.
He just chooses to act in manners which some would describe as silly and stupid.
And oh boy, we'll be seeing more of that at patreon.com/Oldie But A Goodie pod for the K-Drama Season 4.
Season 4!
Oh my god.
That's so many.
But I think Anthony Hopkins was pretty, he was doing a lot of movies in the 70s, but I think The Elephant Man, a decade prior to this, was where he really came. Speaking of David Lynch, where he was everyone was oh my god, what a great actor. And then I think this movie is definitely the film of his career.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he's so good in this. I liked when he was introduced, we see it from her perspective. She's walking down the hallway and he's just standing there he's on the command deck of a Star Trek ship.
Yeah, like a submarine admiral. Yeah. He knows, and he's waiting. He's like a tiger sitting there in a crouching position, just ready to fucking pounce.
And he's so sassy. I love it.
He's so petty. It's so great.
He's clearly a lion and she is the lamb, you know, to make a terrible allegory, like, but he is the predator and she is the prey sort of situation.
I think also to talk about institutionalized prison systems for a little bit.
Yes.
I especially privatized prisons, but it's like, I mean, they likened basically all of them to being animals in a cage. Like, we get so many shots of him. He's essentially a lab rat for them, right? That's what they're trying to say with a lot of what they show us and what they tell us. But of course, if you don't have any enrichment or stimulation, why are you not going to psychologically torture the people around you if that's the only thing that you can do?
Yeah.
And the only outlet? Like, he's incredibly intelligent. He'd be so fucking bored.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
He would be.
No wonder he fucking hates the director, dude.
I'm like, maybe I would do that. Maybe I would just torture everyone if I was in like maximum prison security and everyone's being mean to me. I'd be like, why not?
Why not?
Why shouldn't I tell the guy next door to kill himself and then he kills himself? Why shouldn't I do that?
When I find Sandro's half-eaten body, I'll know what has happened here, right? Someone snapped.
Not me. That would be the cat.
There was a lot of deadpan looks for a second there. I was worried.
But yeah, no, for sure. I think he's also just so, like, he wants that room with a view. He just really wants it. And, like, as soon as that's an option, he's kind of excited.
Yeah.
He acts...
I mean, you would be, right?
Not like a child, but he looks like his age just, like, regresses for a bit, and he's like, oh, actually, yes, I would love that, actually. Yes, please.
Yeah, he's more engaged.
Yeah.
No one's treated him like a person. So, like, it is, again, it's like, are you who people say you are, or are you your own person?
Yeah.
And it's like, so many people treat him like a monster that he becomes the monster.
Yeah.
Because
she hasn't learned to treat him like an animal yet.
Exactly.
So she sees him like a person and treats him like a person.
Yes. And that's why he's reciprocal
Yeah.
to that. And that's why he helps her. Like, he does help her. And I think he genuinely cares for her. And especially, like, I mean, we get the scene where he flies all the way to wherever. Illinois, I think they're going to Chicago. I can't remember where they're going. But he touches her hand as he passes her something through the cage, and that's like, he cares about her, and it's like showing, hey, if this all goes tits up and I escape, which I think that he's telling her in that moment that he's gonna get out.
I'm
gonna
get out of here.
He's like, I'm about to dip, so just so you know, like, we're good. Like, it's
I'm
all
not gonna
good.
find you and
Yeah,
kill
I'm
you.
not gonna find you, and I'm not gonna hunt you down. Like, it's good.
Yeah.
I get it.
I mean, she literally says that in the film. She's like, oh, I know he's not going to come after me. I don't know why, but I know he's not.
Yeah, and like her roommate / like her friend in the movie is like, you're fucking crazy. Like, why do you think that? And she's like, nah, cause he would think it's rude. It's rude to kill me. He would think it's rude.
For sure.
And he would. Yeah. So he doesn't.
I mean, it's true, yeah.
Speaking of that scene where he escapes though, Zach, how early on did you figure out what was going on?
Oh, I pretty much instantly knew.
Yeah, same.
I was
it's the problem because we know how films are created.
Yeah.
The fact that we don't see Hannibal after a certain point in the scene.
True.
It's like, okay, where is Hannibal in the scene? It was pretty much a like, I spy, where is Hannibal? Oh, there's Hannibal, right?
Yeah.
But I was glad I figured it out.
There was like lots of good fake outs that I was like not annoyed that I called them, but I was like, I bet that this is a fake out. And then they were a fake out. Like when the police are about to raid Buffalo Bill's house, I'm like, no, this is 100% a fake out.
Oh, yeah, right.
And yeah, obviously when Hannibal escapes, and he cuts, I guess the lieutenant or police chief's face off, and he's wearing, he's wearing one of the police officers' faces, and they're like, oh my god, we gotta get an ambulance, he's like all cut up and stuff. I'm like, no, he's wearing some guy's face, like that's him.
Yeah.
But I appreciated the art behind the fake outs, because
I agree.
You know, movies were new to people in the 90s. They didn't know they didn't know what they were.
It's true.
That was a joke.
They didn't know what anagrams were either, because that's the most sinister thing you could possibly do.
I mean, honestly, that would probably work because people don't know how to read and write anymore. So
it's true.
Yeah,
I'd just put it into Chat GPT and be like, solve this for me, please.
I liked that he did a little puzzle. He's like, oh, he's a smart boy. He needs something to tickle his intellect. He does a little bit of word puzzles. Oh, exactly. what a cheeky little boy he is. You know,
because like what else would there be to do but read? Exactly. Really, if you're in prison for that long.
Yeah. I think it's absolutely a form of torture not letting someone, especially with like the large intellect that it's implied and shown that he has, like, not have stimulation. Of course he's going to be tortured there, right?
Yeah. And I love the ending as well, which is just him, like, the whole credits is just him walking,
so
following
funny. I was giggling the whole time. He's, like, swaggering around.
Yeah. I loved his wig. That was the worst wig I've ever seen in cinema, I think.
Oh my god, it was so funny.
It's so good. It's so good. Yeah.
It worked, but it's like, it could be, maybe this was just a shitty wig that they used for the film. Or maybe he cut someone's hair off.
Maybe. He scalped someone, is wearing someone's head.
Yeah.
I think it was just a really shitty wig, which was very funny to me.
It was very funny.
That's good. I think in the scene where he's escaping as well, I think the SWAT commander is played by Chris Isaac, the famous
oh my gosh,
Mr. Singer Man.
I saw Chris Isaac come up in the title cards. I was like, lol.
Yeah, he's in this. It would have been the same year he did Twin Peaks as well, so he's in a bunch of stuff.
I love him in Firewalk with Me. I can't get over it. It's so funny.
He's very funny in that.
Which one's he one? Is he the one that gets handcuffed?
I don't know exactly which one he is.
No, he's one of the SWAT guys, I think, not one of the police officers. So they turn up later.
Oh, is he the guy they keep cutting to that's looking down at the body?
Maybe. I honestly, like, I know what he looks like, but I don't.
There were too many police officers.
Yeah,
there was a lot going on in that scene, so I'm not sure where he was, but
he's not the only, like, I guess, cameo in this. George A. Romero, he basically created the zombie movie. He's the jailer, I think. He's like the old man jailer at the start of the movie. That's just so random. And then also Roger Corman, who is like the producer and director of hundreds and hundreds of 80s and 70s, even 60s B-movie trash. He's also in this as the FBI director, which is great because cannibal movies would not exist if it wasn't for him.
Yeah.
Because he did all of the American ones were him. So it's so funny that all of these, like, this movie takes itself so seriously, but there's so many, like, nods to other things. And
well, like, that's the point, is that
it's good.
Yeah. Like, you can have a serious movie and then still, I guess, have layers to it as well, and have more comedic actors in it or whatever. And
for sure.
Yeah.
Only the people in the know that.
Yeah.
I like how he helps her in being like, hey, you can figure this out. There's a puzzle here and I've given you clues, but you need to figure this out, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I like that sort of puzzle aspect. I like his little anagrams and how he sent the whole FBI on a goose chase. You know?
So good.
Oh, that scene where he meets the not the president lady, but whatever.
The senator
lady. Yeah.
Her daughter is the one that's trapped in the well.
Yeah. And he, like, creeps her the fuck out by talking about her tits, you know, like...
Well, he asked if she breastfed, and it was like... He was explaining it. I think, obviously, like, what he wanted to do was torture people, but also he's trying to relate to people in the way that he can, which is like, well, if you've been socialized for 8 years in a box and everyone's treating you like shit, why wouldn't you be like...
Whoa, Han, throughout this, you're sounding a lot like a sympathizer to this guy right here, who we've seen multiple times eat someone's face.
And they all deserved it. I don't think he, like, ACAB, yes, let's go. But
did he deserve to be hung up like a fucking angel with his, like, back splayed? There's a specific torture where they do that as well.
Is it the something eagle, I think?
Yeah.
It's in Midsummer. It's, more recently.
But he's like, how would you like it if you got your autonomy and your body taken away from you? Like, cut apart.
A blood eagle. That's what it's called.
There you go.
Yeah, it's a Viking torture. But he essentially does that to a guy.
He does, but I mean, that's the point is that he's making a statement because he likes the pageantry of it.
Oh, yeah. It looks very angelic as well with the backing lighting, you know?
Yeah, and the American flag behind it too. It's, you know.
That was an incredible shot.
He is very theatrical. He's
very artsy. He does a lot of drawings, you know?
He's a romantic, you know?
He's probably been planning that one for a long fucking time, right?
That's true. Probably.
Like, he removes part of the pen that we saw earlier.
Yeah.
And I didn't quite get that till thinking about it later, because it shows him looking at the pen, like, practically salivating.
Yeah.
He's like, holy shit, these fucking idiots left me a pen in the room.
Yeah, actually.
Those dumbasses. And like, because he knows that's his key to getting out of here. Mm-hmm. And then they take him to this, like, open prison containment while they're doing this whole, like, talking with the senator sort of thing.
Well, they're putting him on display, like they are.
Yeah. They really fungal the pooch there. They really stuff this up here. 2 guards? Just 2 guys in the same room with him at all times?
That's the thing. They think he's a house cat, but he's a tiger.
Yeah, exactly.
But, like, they don't even have, like, a guy that, like, checks up on him after they do, like...
No, because they think he's harmless. Like, they've declawed him. They've, like, broken his will. They think that, you know, they put him in the middle of this room.
They become complacent, for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But, like, they really fucked up there to allow him to escape.
I think that's the whole plot of this movie is actually police incompetency. Like, I mean, the whole time, it's like...
Yeah.
The police suck. The FBI are trying to do the best that they can, but they're being stopped by the police.
Well, I mean, the police...
Han, I have to stop you with this, like, pro-murderer angle that you're going here. Like, come on.
I mean, the police notoriously are the reason why there were so many murders in the 80s and 70s. Like, they were all across the world, not just Americans, but, like...
It was a little rough.
Specifically, Americans, but so many serial killers constantly.
What do you mean for-profit prisons are bad and don't help society and are actually a big leech and are causing a lot of the problems which they're meant to solve?
What?
That's
it's not slavery if they're in prison and they're paid 1 cent an hour.
Yeah.
Han, in the TV show, does Hannibal have a phone?
Like a cell phone?
Like a cell phone?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
But also, like, he has a practice. So he's, like, on... Like, every phone they have is, like, a wired phone.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure he does have a cell phone.
Because I was gonna say, like, how different this movie would be if it was set nowadays and Hannibal just had a mobile phone.
I can imagine Hannibal Lecter playing Angry Birds.
He'd be like, just like bullying kids online. Like, that's what he would be. He'd like anonymously be texting some 13-year-old and being like, lol, kill yourself.
He would get Drake to turn himself in, for sure.
If Hannibal Lecter had video games, he wouldn't have been a murderer. He would have just trolled people online.
It's true. That's where it would go.
That's true.
Oh my god. That's great.
But I guess the only thing left to really talk about is the very end of the movie where, we got Jodie Foster going in. She discovers that she's in the house of the killer. Just, all the acting.
It's
everything.
so scary.
It's so good. She's like running around.
Ooh, that whole tense scene where she walks into the killer's house and she's like by herself and he's being cordial, but at the same time, he's going a little crazy because the girl just kidnapped his precious dog and then he has an FBI and I'm like, holy shit. And then she asks for the phone just like the victim and I was like, and his like voice breaks just for a second and I went, oh shit.
Yeah. And then he like runs off and then it's just her like so scared. There's that great scene where she's looking around a doorway and the camera is locked to the muzzle of her gun. So we're always looking down her gun as like I was so good.
Oh my God, that was wild.
A lot of these shots, especially throughout the whole movie, was so claustrophobic.
Yeah.
And it was so good because it was just slightly too much furniture in the shot. There was just slightly too much going on in the shot that it's
she should have had backup. I'm just gonna say it. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. 100%. I'm like, does she not have a radio? Like, I'm like, wow.
I don't know.
Would you not have a sat phone? Like, I know it was the 90s, but like,
but she's not meant to be doing this.
No, exactly. So it's like, well, what do you do in that situation?
You do what she does, which is almost die.
I don't think you do. I think you call for backup. I think you leave. It kind of sucks because she would be dooming that chick to die.
Yeah.
Well, that's like, it's like we see she got, I mean, it's almost like Buffalo Bill decides not to kill her because there's the scene with the night vision. She's in complete darkness. And Bill is, like, reaching towards her face.
Well, he's also trying not to get killed. He's being careful, right?
Yeah, but, he could have in that moment.
Yeah, but she could have just shot... If you grab her by the mouth there or the neck or whatever, she just turns around and shoots you, right?
Yeah,
that's true.
I think it also shows that it's more about I guess she is fully herself, right?
Yeah.
She is being herself, and she's going through a transformation.
That's true.
Like, she's becoming into her own, and I would say, like, not coming of age, but, like, maturing and...
Coming of career.
Yeah, exactly. And I think also, he's like, well, I'll never have what anyone else has.
Yeah.
And I think in that moment, he decides suicide by police.
Yes and no.
No, I know, exactly. It's ambiguous.
Yeah.
Everything is ambiguous in this film, and it's good.
I would interpret it, and I think it's an interpretation, right? Because it is just art, and so you can interpret it either way, but my interpretation was...
Art's completely objective, so actually, you're wrong.
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna listen to your pro-criminal, anti-police propaganda over here. No, because he's also, like, stressed out of his mind at the time because of the whole princess situation. Like, everything's happening at once. So I think he's also not thinking rationally as well.
That's true.
But he's also I'm not going to say professional, but, like, he's a killer. He's killed people before. Yes. So he's also being careful. But if I were the killer there, and not that I've thought about it anything, I would have thrown a rock to distract her 2 seconds and then shot her. But anyway.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think... But he is, and Hannibal called him a fledgling killer because he's messy. Like, he's messy. He makes mistakes, and he's getting confident, and he's relying on police incompetency.
Yeah,
he even says that. He's like, well, the police around here, when she comes into the house, he's like, the police around here don't know anything about it, and he's like, does the FBI know? And he's like trying to probe her for like the questions.
Yeah.
But that's what his plan was, is police incompetency.
Yeah.
Because otherwise he would have got caught.
I think he was almost expecting to be caught after the first couple. Is there anything else that we haven't talked about?
Just the line, I'm having an old friend for dinner, I think we should give.
I was like, so funny, because he's so sassy.
Yeah.
He's such a sassy little boy.
And I was so like, good. That's so funny, because he says it in the TV show as well.
Oh, good.
Like,
yeah. Well, it's a good line. I mean, like... Because it's obviously it's the double entendre of having that's a literal like vampire line. I'm pretty sure I've seen that in a vampire movie before, right?
For sure. But no, I think we covered pretty much everything with The Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, why is it called that though? I feel like
that's true.
This is spoilers if you haven't watched it, but yeah.
Zach, why is it called The Silence of the Lambs?
Because she talks about her childhood at one point and how she, her parents died, or her dad died, and she got put in an orphanage, and then to her uncle's place.
Yeah, her like cousin and her
cousin's place, which was a farmstead, and at some point they were doing a little murder of all the lambs. And she didn't want that to happen because she could hear them bleating, which sounded like the cries of children.
Yeah.
And so she tried to save one, and she failed to save one, and it got fucking killed. And she's only mildly traumatized by that.
I mean, would you say mildly traumatized if she built her whole career around trying to save people's lives?
That, for legal reasons, that was a joke. She is very traumatized by it.
And so, yeah, she's trying to save people to stop hearing the cries of the lambs.
Yeah.
It's such a... But the title also works in, like, so many other ways as well.
True. It's like...
It's so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Because she is the metaphorical lamb, and she is being silenced by all these men out here.
Oh, yeah. That scene, right, like in the funeral home where before they're about to do the autopsy, and it's just this room full of the police officers from the small town, and she has to ask them to leave like 3 times, and I'm like, oh, they just like look at her and they're like, okay, I guess we'll leave. And I was like,
they're figuring it out as like whether they like acknowledge her authority or not, and it's like, oh, it crawls under your skin.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they're like looking to each other to acknowledge. It's just so insidious. Like,
it is.
The misogyny in this film is just so insidious, and it's so great. And like, there are layers of, you know, everything in
hard pro misogyny. You heard it first.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. It's great. It's great
actually,
misogyny. I don't know. I think this and Psycho are both pretty good at their misogyny. But no, I do agree completely. All right, well, that's pretty much all spoilers. One other quick thing to mention is we don't really go into this that much anymore, but this movie made history and continues to make history. It's the only horror movie ever to win Best Picture at the Oscars.
That's impressive.
Wow.
No other horror movies ever won that
Well,
before.
this is a thriller, actually, so...
Wow, that's...
Yeah, this is a crime mystery. This is a...
That's still very impressive because they're like... That's not a real genre, actually.
This is actually a rom-com between 2 gay lovers.
Yeah.
I mean, it is.
But it's also the 3rd movie ever to win every single major category at the Oscars as well. It also got Best Director, Best Actor, Best Actress, and Best Adapted Screenplay. The only other movies to ever get that is It Happened One Night. No idea what that is.
Is that old?
It's pretty old, the 30s.
I wasn't born then, so I don't remember that.
There was like 2 movies that came out that year, so like it didn't have much competition.
Yeah, exactly. And also One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is the other movie that's only ever done that, which is like that and this movie both
there were a
feel
lot
the same.
Yeah, there were a lot of Hitchcock.
Yeah.
It was very like that's what I mean by the shots being claustrophobic.
That's one I've also always wanted to see. That my grandmother says I should watch that film, which is crazy.
Hell yeah.
I love One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
She's big into crime mysteries though. She's listening to those podcasts. She's staying up at night, you know.
I feel like my mom and your grandma would have a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
Oh, they would.
But my mom also notoriously hates horror films, even though it's like all that she watches. But it's so funny. It's just the duality of man.
Does your mum like the tennis at all?
No, she likes the Tour de France. So
okay. My grandma watches that one, I think, as well.
She stays up till 3 a.m. and watches it.
Nice.
When
That's
it's on.
based.
So yeah, it's pretty cool.
I think that's all I wanted to talk about.
I don't have anything else to say.
Oh yeah.
I did want to mention quickly, I did like her little puzzle solving things throughout. I think I mentioned that, but I like the first little puzzle where she finds the head of the guy. Yeah, the little head in the jar.
I liked that.
Yeah.
I would be like, that's honestly the scariest like scene to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, she's just going into this storage unit by herself and it's just full of mannequins. And I'm like, ugh! So uncanny.
For sure.
So just, you know, if you see a mannequin out of the corner of your eye and your brain's like, that's a human. And you're like, no, it's not. Chill out.
Yeah, mannequins / statues. Some of the most horrifying things that can be in every
That's
anything.
true.
I agree.
That's true.
But I think that's when, like, shit hits the fan in terms of she's like, oh, okay, like, this is it. Like, we're in it now. And I either have to actually do this or just kind of live with the fact that I didn't help someone get caught for murdering people.
You have to go all in or nothing, you know?
Exactly.
But
But it was scary. All of the scenes, scary.
All of them.
Mannequins, super scary.
I agree.
Especially if they turn to life and then become the love interest. That's the worst thing that can possibly happen. In a
Pretty horrifying. Yeah. Horrifying. I wanted to watch that the other day. I was like, I want to rewatch Mannequin for some reason.
No.
They took it off of Amazon. I can't find it anywhere. So rude.
Bezos!
Patreon.com for that review.
The new Boost Mobile network is offering unlimited talk, text, and data for just $25 a month for life.
That sounds like a threat.
Then how do you think we should say it?
Unlimited talk, text, and data for just $25 a month for the rest of your life?
I don't know.
Until your ultimate demise.
What if we just say forever?
Okay.
$25 a month, forever.
Get unlimited talk, text, and data for just $25 a month with Boost Mobile forever.
After 30 gigabytes, customers may experience slower speeds. Customers will pay $25 a month as long as they remain active on the Boost Unlimited plan.
And now it's time for raving reviews. But Sandro's in charge, but I'm in charge, but Han's in charge, but actually I'm in charge.
Okay.
Good, I didn't have anything prepared, so...
I'll allow it.
Yeah, that's good. Good thing I'm in charge this time.
Yeah.
This is the part of the show where I get reviews from Rotten Tomatoes, the best place to get reviews, and specifically I get it from the audience, because
Hell
the
yeah.
audience know better than the critics, which is
100%.
why they both have 95% on Rotten Tomatoes. Both the audience and the critics have 95. Which is crazy. I can't remember the last time I've seen both of them be the same and that high.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe Shrek, I think, is like high 80s for both.
Shrek is pretty high.
Yeah. I think, I've seen them both be similar.
And they're on par. These are the same movie.
If something's really good, both usually agree that it's really good. But I've never seen them exactly the same. I can't remember the last time that's happened.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
me neither.
Especially with the amount of reviews that are there. These had a lot of reviews.
Yeah, I feel like people would be like, particularly like the younger people using Rotten Tomatoes would be like, this is boring. Nothing happened. 1 star.
Yeah, but also, I think that, like, everyone that's young uses Letterboxd.
Oh, yeah, good point.
And everyone that's old uses Rotten Tomatoes.
That's fair.
It's true.
It's like Facebook and Instagram, you know what I mean?
It's true.
Except Instagram's the new Facebook, so it's like Instagram and TikTok now.
Exactly. Anyway, we got to guess the ratings.
Yes, there's 2 of you today, so this is a versus, a rot-off, if you will. I knew you guys would say that. I'm so glad. That's the exact reaction we were looking for. So,
I'm going to keep score as well, so there will be a winner.
Just like the bodies in this movie, we gotta wade through them to figure out who's the real killer here.
Rotting bodies.
I've got 5 grand reviews. You guys are gonna love the last 3. And you guys got to guess the score they rated it. I'll give you the review, and you got to guess the rating. So they go from 0.5 as the lowest to 5 out of 5 as the highest.
Okay, cool.
And you've written one of these as well, right?
I have, in fact, written one of these.
Okay.
Good, because if you have written 2, that would be unfair.
That's true. I would never do that. I would never write 3. That'd be crazy.
Oh. Now I want you to one week. That'd be hilarious.
I would never, Sandro. That's ridiculous. And the fact that you implied that is crazy. All right. Are we ready?
No.
Yeah, yes.
Sandro, you lose a point. Han gets a point there.
Yay!
Yeah,
I'm on -1.
Because I don't have to be on my phone when I'm doing other tasks.
Wait, I lose a point, so I'm on -1, and then now Han's on 1.
That's not what I meant, but yes, absolutely.
Okay. Well, I'm keeping it.
Yeah.
That's the rules now.
Yeah, get wrecked. All right. So, first review.
Yes.
Moshin, sorry if I butchered that name, says, an interesting movie in the genre of police movies.
I mean, technically correct.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's FBI, though. And FBI...
Yeah, but there are police at one point when they sort of like storm
true.
a museum, I guess.
That's true.
There's kind of a police thing there.
All right, I'll allow it.
But comparing this to previous police movies that we've watched...
This is not, like, is this on par with, like, Beverly Hills Cop?
Yeah, Police Academy.
Yeah, Police Academy. Just the fact that this review mentioned that I thought was funny.
Oh, there was a point where where one of the characters was called Lieutenant Boyle, and I was like, from Brooklyn Nine-Nine? That's very funny. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Yeah, that is funny. Yeah, someone was called Boyle. I did remember that.
I'm going to guess that review's probably pretty high, but I'm going to go 4, not too high.
Yeah, I was going to go 3.5, I think, because the implication that they're like, it's kind of a derogatory implication.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go 3.5.
All right, so you guys have locked that in?
Yep.
All right, I'd like to remind you this has a 95% on Rotten Tomatoes. This is 5 out of 5, obviously, because this has a 95% on Rotten Tomatoes. I hate to spoiler this.
They did a letterbox troll.
But it was hard sifting through a lot of these reviews to find ones that weren't 5 out of 5,
All
right?
That's fair, and good to know.
Primed us now.
And we're not doing closest wins, so no one gets a point.
That's true. No points.
Sure.
Stay all. Han has 1.
Yeah, because you dropped your phone, so.
I got -1.
No. You can get rid of the -1. You can get rid of it. You can be on 0. I'll be kind.
All right.
You are a gracious judge.
Stefan says, as a cannibal myself, this film really spoke to me.
5 out of 5. I'm looking at it. 5 out of 5.
Oh, 5 out of 5.
Well, I can't go 5 out of 5.
You can. I feel like you could guess it. Yeah, you could guess the same.
You can totally go 5 out of 5 if you want, Sandro. You could be wrong as well.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna jump on it as well. I'm gonna jump on it as well.
So what are you picking?
I'll go 5.
You go 5? It's 5 out of 5.
Hell yeah. Woo.
You guys both get a point.
1 point each.
Right.
Holden says, misleading. Not a single lamb.
Very good. Very funny.
I'm going to say 4.
Ooh.
I think a 4.
To make a review where you sound like you disliked the movie is truly something that a big fan of a movie would do. So I'm going to go 5 out of 5 again.
True.
Well, I thought you guys would get that because that's 0.5, actually.
What?
Serious?
Yeah. It's 0.5 because it's just a stupid
Maybe
meme
they just really like sheep and they were like expecting actual animals in this.
Maybe.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, my connection could have been Black Sheep, the New Zealand horror film. Oh, I should have put that in.
I like
You're
that
so
one.
dumb.
That's funny.
Can't do it now.
Louise says, not a single lamb was silenced. Misleading title.
Gotta be kidding me.
5 out of 5.
I'll go 0.5.
It's 0.5. Sandro gets a point.
Closing the gap.
And I'll let you know the last one is either 0.5 or 5 out of 5 because Michael says, not a single lamb. Would not recommend this movie. Come on, Sandro. Go ahead. Yeah, you go first this time.
Yeah. You go first.
Go 5 out of 5.
I feel like it might be 0.5, maybe.
It's 5 out of 5.
Oh my god.
Sandro steals it back.
I win.
It went 0.5, 0.5, 5 out of 5.
But we still got to guess which one Zach did. You could get an extra point.
Okay. I think that you were the second one.
The second one?
The one after the police one.
Oh, that was a good one. I'm going to guess that you're the not a single lamb, but 5 out of 5. The last one. I'm going to think that's yours because you wouldn't give it 0.5.
That's true. I couldn't give this film 0.5. Like, I couldn't betray that, like, just to give you minus points. No, Han is right. It was the second one.
Woo!
I legitimately found 3 reviews that were doing the same joke, and I'm pretty sure I found a 4th one as well. I think if you just keep scrolling, people just say the same joke because they're all unoriginal.
Yeah,
but
that
the
makes
first
sense.
time I saw that joke, it made me laugh. The second time I saw it, I'm like, I'm seeing a pattern. I know what I'm doing for this episode.
Very funny.
Amazing. That's great. Well, there we go. It's a tie.
It's a tie, except for the negative point which you reviewed.
Oh, wait, no. Han wins. And that means you win the honor of plugging your socials and content.
Find me on the Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Twitch, Haunted by Han. I'm not doing anything at the moment, but I'm around.
They're around.
Yeah. Haunted by Han.
Links in the description.
Everywhere. On all the things.
I liked your PAX loot boxes because you gave me a little fidget toy.
Oh yeah, I made like PR packages when I went to PAX. Say that 3 times fast. PR packages at PAX.
I used that fidget toy so much on the podcast it broke. like I broke the rubber.
Oh my god, you broke it.
Next time I see you, I'll give you another one. So, there you go. I have like business cards, and they're just like back rooms with like my QR code to my socials on them, and
They're horrifying.
they're terrifying. Generally, I love them. Anyway.
But yeah, I fidgeted with the skull's eye so much that both the eyes have broken out of
Ew,
it now.
I love that. All right, well, I'll get you another one. You'll be gifted another one.
Yeah, they've been put to work, you know. During this podcast, it's a hard life being a fidget toy.
That's
Exactly.
Right. But speaking of Twitch, I am not streaming on it. And speaking of Twitch, Zach has not started streaming on it. But speaking of Twitch...
That's true. I've said it for years.
But speaking of Twitch, Starkey is streaming on it, our
Yay!
editor. You should go follow...
Whoa! The editor, the main character.
He is the editor, Mr. Starkey Man. He is playing the video games, so many games. Starkey, what are you up to right now?
Crab souls and raiding tombs.
Great stuff, Saki. Also, have you watched this film? Did you like this film? Have you watched it?
Yeah, what did you think, Starkey, of the movie?
I haven't watched it, but I want to. It sounds really good.
Oh, God.
Ew.
Oh,
Yeah.
Keep that to yourself.
my goodness me.
That's worse than the fucking murder angle that Han had this whole time.
I'm pro murder, but anti animal abuse. That's my stance.
Yeah, well, this movie was perfect because, like, no animals were harmed. Precious is fine at the end. We see Precious being held and away, so it worked out.
But go to the episode description for links to Starkey and also for links to all our stuff. We're on everything. Instagram, Facebook, if you want. YouTube, popping
oldies.
off over there, I guess, sometimes. You can go there if you want. And subscribe.
Leave a comment.
Yeah, leave a comment complaining that this isn't the movie.
Yeah.
Leave a comment that said there weren't any lambs in the movie.
Yeah,
No lambs in the movie.
That'd be great.
Yeah, actually leave a comment that's saying there were no lambs in this movie, misleading title.
That is all in the episode description, plus patreon.com/Oldie But A Goodie pod, where Zach's starting on this Wednesday. Not the Wednesday that we're recording, but starting next Wednesday, which is also this Wednesday. Zach, we are starting a new series. Zach, what's the series that we're starting?
It's X-Men.
X-Men.
Oh, cool.
Wolverine and the X-Men.
Just like in this film, it features people that were men and now they're
The X-Men,
yeah,
which is, we're starting with the first X-Men movie.
There's lots of fun facts about that movie, Zach, that you're very excited about. X-Men.
Okay, well, anyway, if you look at Hugh Jackman, he is not very jacked, and he talks about the whole fact that he didn't even know what a Wolverine was before, like, while filming it.
I mean, they're like Canadian, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, like, he didn't know at the time, and then he, like, after the movie came out, he looked it all up and was like, oh, shit. And then in later movies, he took the role way more seriously, and he, like, spent... He got jacked in between films. We'll be watching them.
That's what you get for hiring a theater kid to be in a superhero movie.
But, like, watch the first one, and he's well built.
Yeah, but
he's not
like,
jacked. Go watch, once we watch the first one, look at him in the second film, and you'll go, holy shit.
Which one's the one where he jumps out of the bathtub?
That's Origins. We don't like that one.
I like that one.
I'm very
'Cause
intrigued
Hugh Jackman
to rewatch
jumps
that one.
out of a bathtub.
Origins is the best one, actually, Sandro. And you're stupid and you're poo-poo.
Well, Troye Sivan's in Origins, and he's fun.
Troye Sivan?
Yeah, he plays
The kid?
Wolverine as a kid.
What?
At the very start of the movie, it's Troye Sivan.
That's so funny because Troye Sivan's also Australian.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So good.
And he stabs his dad. It's a great time.
Patreon.com/Oldie But A Goodie pod. Get all that if you want. All right, I'm going to
be in my basement. Get back.
No!
It gets the hose.
No, first, wait. Before you put him in the basement, we need to choose the movie. Then you can put him back in the basement.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
I forgot you had a whole segment left.
We got one more segment left.
Yeah.
And it's this segment will either go way longer or way shorter because not only is Zach picking a movie out of the movies I've picked, but Han's also involved.
I was going to say, is this the first,
And I make everything way too long.
But, is this the first, guests that we've had for this guessing segment, I think?
It is. Am I the first guest of the year?
You are the first guest of the year, the
Thank
first guest of this.
Oh my god, thank you. The new
It is borderline impossible to get guests for this format, so I'm very glad we got one in. Anyway, I've picked 5 movies. You got to pick one.
Five. Jesus Christ.
All
right.
So, because there's so many, we're going to ask maybe 1 or 2 questions, and then we're going to have to cut some, huh?
We'll have to cut a bunch of these. Now, Han is also involved, so you also have swaying power in terms of which movies we do.
I'm excited to utilize.
I think Han can ask some questions, and I think we'll alternate back and forth.
I can.
I think that you can ask questions.
Dobby has given Master a sock.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to give you the gimmies for these 5.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give you actor because it's going to be too obvious, but I'm going to give you year, genre, and director.
I don't know director's name, so this is.
I will give you one other movie the director has directed.
Thank you. That my ADHD appreciates that.
I don't know any of the directors. I just pretend to the whole time. That's my secret.
All right,
No secret anymore. So
the first movie is from 1976.
Ooh.
It is a horror film.
Ooh.
And it's directed by Tobe Hooper, the director of The Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Ooh, I wonder what sort of genre that movie is. Ooh.
Cannibals. That's what I think the connection is.
The second movie is from... you can't ask what the connection is.
Well, I didn't.
As a question if you want as
well. I didn't.
Okay, well, I'm going to keep saying... The next movie is from 1986.
Okay.
Yes.
It is a thriller. And it's directed by Michael Mann, the guy who directed a bunch of crime movies like Heat and
I wonder
Collateral.
what this movie is about.
The third option is from 1993. It is a musical, and it is directed by Trey Parker and Matt Stone, the minds behind South Park.
Hell yeah.
Ooh, curious.
The fourth option is from 2001. It is a horror thriller movie. And it is directed by Ridley Scott, who did Alien.
Oh,
and
yeah.
some other things.
I know who that is.
Yes. And then
He also did Prometheus. Thank you. It's very, very...
he did about
Yeah, don't forget Prometheus.
And then your final options from 2002. It is a thriller directed by David Fincher, who did Gone Girl, Seven, bunch of good stuff.
Yeah,
bunch of good stuff.
I like Gone Girl.
So, a lot of good options there.
I vote to cut the police thriller, the number 2.
Ooh, yeah, because of your hatred of cops. Yeah,
Yes.
that checks out.
Yeah, that's my vote to get rid of.
Okay,
You want to cut that one?
Do we want to ask one question before we cut a film?
Nah.
All right, we're cutting that film. It's gone.
I mean,
Get
you
it out
can,
of here.
but I want to cut. I want to cut it. If you want to ask a question,
No,
go
it's
for it.
Nope,
All
it's
right,
gone.
cut.
It's out of here. We got to cut them out. We can't get attached to them, Han. We got to cut them out.
Can't dehumanize them. We have to
Exactly.
dehumanize them.
Yeah, we have to dehumanize them. Think of them as lambs.
All right.
Don't think of them as lambs. That humanizes them.
All right, you've cut that one. Han took the lead on that, so Zach, you get to ask the first question.
Yes.
Oh, okay, sure. I like, and I think this works well for the movie we just watched. But if these movies were to make a painting, a bit of artistry, maybe not even a painting, maybe a statue, maybe if they were to create...
Just a piece of art.
If they were locked in a maximum security prison and the only solace they had was to create a piece of art, whether literature, art, or...
That's a tough question.
Yeah, but it's very open-ended, so he's allowed to interpret this however they want. Maybe photography. Maybe they get into photography. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. You could get really, really buff.
Yeah, you could do that. All right,
Sarah Connor arms.
I don't consider that art. All bodybuilders are not artists. They all suck, and I hate them.
Have you seen these guns?
Oh, shit.
Boom.
My opinion has been
when
changed.
podcasting is not a visual medium.
Well, the viewers can imagine your rippling muscles there.
Exactly. Head to my Twitch if you want to see.
Exactly.
Yeah, she's known for her heavy lifts, you know.
All right, the first one would do like Mad Magazine comic.
Okay.
Yeah,
I got what you mean.
Kind of like cartoony sort of. That's just the vibe I'm getting.
So like caricatures.
Yeah,
almost?
caricatures.
Oh, like sketches, caricatures, but in a sort of cartoony style.
Some crude humor in there as well, potentially. Like maybe some fart clouds.
But like not like in like a bad way, in like a
There's not a good way, Sandro.
That's fair. I might have ruined that one as an option. All right.
Yep, you did.
Stinky.
The third one, which was the musical, that would be it's like a historical painting. So it's like the artist has drawn like a historically accurate painting of some like
a
historical
building.
figure and then drawn mustache and glasses on them.
Cute. I like that.
Okay, that's pretty based.
I'm going to say the fourth one, which was the Ridley Scott one, that would be
Is it a painting of like a spaceship or an alien?
No. That's very funny. Very funny. A little bit of banter there. No, that one is
Photos from the Hubble telescope just blown off.
That's so true.
That one would be a drawing of like a view, a drawing of like a city, like not like an eye,
like
not
a
like a
landscape.
bird's eye,
like
but
a charcoal architecture kind of sketch.
Yes,
Okay.
that would be that one.
Yeah.
I see that.
That's pretty cool.
And then the final one is not a painting. The final one is they have doomsday prepped the shit out of wherever they are. They have got cans everywhere. They are very, very... That is how...
What?
They have changed themselves. That's how they've done art, is by prepping. There's cans of food everywhere.
All right. That.
Okay. So instead of occupying themselves with art, they've occupied themselves with being obsessed over doomsday prepping.
Could just be like they've like put newspaper all up on the wall or something.
Newspapers up everywhere.
Red strings, like okay.
They've gone.
Well, I want to cut either this one or the fart one.
I think we cut the fart one, but
I think Sandra really threw that one under the bus as soon as he mentioned farts.
All right, so that's options 1 and 2 cut. Cool. All right,
but I feel like that's on Sandra, really.
True.
You can't just mention farts and then go, "Oh, it's not that bad."
But not in a bad way. What is a farts in a good way? May I ask?
Can I?
All the clips from your stream that he's got.
That's true.
I only burp on camera. I don't fart on camera. Well, you have to pay for that. Come on.
Oh yeah.
I can't.
That's on the
I
Patreon.
can't save that one now. But I will say you've just lost out on a movie where Robert Englund, the guy who plays Freddy, is the main character. So you've just lost out on that one.
That's on you, not me. I feel no guilt.
Exactly.
Anyway, next question.
I have a question. I think that my question will be this question.
Yes, thank you.
If these films were on death row, what would their last meal be?
Oh, that's such a good question.
I know, because Hannibal asks for lamb chops after she tells the story of lamb. And now I've just been like, I just want lamb chops now. And
real.
I'm very easily influenced by
very
food.
angry.
So
No, but that's a great question because we've done a lot of food-related questions in the past. We've had
you've done
desserts.
dessert,
We've had like other things, but this is more thematic because of our thing. Like, and that's also a question people ask: is like, what would be your final meal?
while you think about that, I'll leave that open to the floor, the question. Because I feel like mine would be like a Pepsi Max and some salmon and avocado sushi.
That's good.
That's probably what mine would be.
Wow, very very simple.
Yeah. A good quality though.
That's a really good
like
one.
fresh salmon, sashimi.
I'd probably ask for like a whole lasagna, just a big old lasagna.
Okay, Garfield.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, maybe a beer.
I'd be worried about shitting my pants out if I died while
I want to
eating
eat a bunch
lasagna.
of food that would make me shit my pants out. And then everyone's gonna clean
So
it.
is that farting in a good way?
Yes.
Yeah. That's soiling yourself against the regime.
Yeah,
you
take
know?
that.
That's right.
That's against the patriarchy, you know? If we could pick anything, and I know this might make me sound like a monster, but I would really like to try Galapagos tortoise.
Dude.
In every recorded instance of anyone, like, writing down about eating it, they've said it's one of the best things they've ever eaten in their lives.
Okay. All right. It's time for the answers.
Yes.
Yes.
The musical would have just a hamburger, fries, and a milkshake.
What kind of hamburger? Like
it
a
would
cheeseburger?
It would be like a
sloppy Joe.
Yeah, like a sloppy, like 3 meat patties in that bad boy.
Bacon,
like a big
cheese.
One.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Okay, well, that's a good... Yeah, I was about to criticize, because that's very... But at least you're getting some bang for your buck there for your last meal.
Yeah.
The Ridley Scott movie, that would have steak, potatoes, maybe some wine.
Like fancy potatoes, though. Like frites, not potatoes.
Exactly. Yeah, maybe even some sweet potatoes thrown in there. Some beans.
I'm so dumb. I should eat like fugu or something on death row.
Yeah, because it can't kill you. What's the point?
Yeah, you can just eat the most dangerous stuff because you're going to die anyway. You might as well...
True.
That's true.
What if you don't like it, though, and then you're disappointed?
Yep.
And you're like, oh.
Well, that's the whole point. You're going to die in 2 seconds anyway. Who gives it, like, if it's bad, then it's like, well, I'm dead anyway, so it doesn't matter.
And then the final movie, the David Fincher one, I really don't know how exactly to answer this, because I want to say a can of soup. But if you're on death row, you want to splash out a little bit more.
So, like, what would be the equivalent of a death row can of soup? Like,
maybe like...
Yeah, what's the equivalent of a doomsday prepper's greatest meal?
Maybe like tomato soup with a bunch of pasta in it, but like...
No, a grilled cheese and tomato
cheese
soup.
Is also good.
I think like a classic
grilled cheese and
like homely meal.
Yeah.
I like that.
Simple, maybe like a Coke on the side, like a cherry Coke or something.
Yeah. That answer I think definitely works. Are you gonna cut one? Because you should probably cut one.
I need to pick.
Not necessarily. We can work this out together.
You can do one more question. You can do one more question, or you can.
I'm not huge on the musical burger stuff.
Oh, not into some South
That sounds very... That's too American pilled for me.
Too American.
Fair. All right,
get rid of it.
All right, that one's gone. Goodbye,
bad
Trey
juju for
Parker
me.
and Matt Stone.
Book of Mormon.
You will not be Mormoning.
No Mormons
on this podcast.
up in here.
All right, next question. I forget who asked that last one.
I asked that question. Okay. Zach, do you have another question?
Yes, so my question for you is... If a doomsday prepper and or jailee was put in jail, but they were allowed a single pet, which pet would these movies take with them to keep the sort of jail slash, I know one's about a doomsday.
An animal companion.
Yeah, a companion.
What would they have?
It could be anything. It could be a fucking rock with googly eyes if you really want to say that.
I don't... I think the Ridley Scott one, probably just like a cat, honestly.
Yep.
Jonesy, yeah.
Just like a cat, yeah.
Yep.
Just a tabby, just to hang out.
Yep.
Cute.
The David Fincher one, the Doomsday Prepper one, I would say teddy bear.
A teddy bear.
It's not really
an
animal, but I think...
That's a comfort,
no, an
companion.
entire grizzly bear. Gotcha.
An entire grizzly bear. Yeah, no, I'd say like a teddy bear. A teddy bear.
Yeah, because they're doomsday prepping. It makes sense. They don't want to take a live animal because that would eat rations, you know.
That's right.
True.
But anyway, now it's time for you to talk amongst yourselves and pick the movie.
All right, we got a 50-50 here. Do you want the doomsday prepping one or the stupid cat one over here?
Nah, cat's boring. Let's go for the doomsday one, I say.
Oh, wow.
I am curious about the doomsday prepping one now.
Yeah. Me too.
It's a weird choice. What year was the Doomsday Prepping one? Was that the 2000 one?
That's 2002. They're both from the 2000s, but that one's 2002.
Bollocks! We've cut out all the
Damn it. All the older ones.
Damn it! I was just saying last week how we're not doing Oldie But A Goodies, and we're back to the 2000s. Can't undo it now, though. All right, so it doesn't matter. We can pick either one.
Doomsday Prepper.
I like the Doomsday Prepping one. I think that.
What were the genres?
Ridley Scott is horror, whereas the David Fincher one is thriller.
Ooh, it's still a thriller, like ooh.
That could be spooky.
Okay, I think we're both kind of leading towards the Doomsday Prepper. It has an interesting.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah,
very I was. Honestly, out of all these movies, this was one that I thought wouldn't get it. So I'm very...
there you go.
Well, it did. So
how about this?
Don't underestimate
I'm
things.
very excited for next week.
Here's the thing. We don't know the context of the film and the other things. So this is the great thing about this segment is it's almost random what can sort of intrigue us and guide us and other things like that, you know.
It really is. And it's the only movie that doesn't use the connection is about cannibals. So there we go.
The only non-cannibal
it's
film.
The only non-cannibal movie. All right, starting from the top, I'll tell you what each movie is. The Toby Hooper, Robert Englund horror film is called Eaten Alive.
Ooh.
It's a...
Yep.
It looks like a pretty goofy cannibal movie from the 70s.
You ruined it. The farts.
The fart. I kind of ruined it there.
You ruined it with the farts. You set that up to fail.
Yeah, what the fuck was the fart thing about? Was that a thing for the movie, or did you just see a poster? Did you see a line? Like, what the fuck was that about?
It just gave me, like, Mad Magazine vibes, and they fart all the time. So
this guy thinks fart jokes are funny.
That's not even a thing in this movie. You just made that the fuck up. You totally fucked this film. That's not you.
Yeah,
you did fucking threw this film under the bus. You know my hatred of the fucking fart jokes.
I really should not have mentioned farts, it's true.
All I could think of was monkey bone, Sandro. You mentioned comics and farting. All I can think of is monkey bone.
That's fair, actually.
That film is ingrained in me. I will never recover.
Oh, dear. The second movie, horror thriller Michael Mann one, that is Manhunter, which is the original adaptation of A Red Dragon with Hannibal Lecter. It's the first one from the 80s.
Yeah.
Right.
With Brian Cox as Hannibal Lecter.
Interesting. That would have been interesting to do, for sure.
Apparently it's really good. I really want to watch it. It's got 94% of Rotten Tomatoes, so still pretty high. Good. The musical is called Cannibal the Musical. It is a trauma movie that Trey Parker and Matt Stone, who obviously made.
I love that.
Yeah. That would have been a banger. That would have been fun.
It's like a Western based on a true story. Bunch of like miners are mining gold and then they just eat each other, and it's just a musical, and it's trauma, so it's probably trash.
Yeah. That sounds like a fun old romp.
And I can't believe you passed up on this, but you passed up on Ridley Scott's Hannibal, the sequel to Silence of the Lambs. You passed up on that.
Well, there you go. You have to watch it in your free time now.
We came close. We came close.
We did.
You did come close.
All right. So what's the one that we did pick?
Well, the one that you did pick, using the connection of the actor Jodie Foster.
Ooh.
Whoa!
You picked 2002's Panic Room.
Oh my gosh. That's so not what I would have expected.
Yeah. Thriller movie. There's a home invasion. They lock themselves in the panic room. Jared Leto's in it, but aside from that, it looks pretty fun.
Isn't Kristen Stewart in it as well?
Yeah, as a kid. It also stars Bella from Twilight. And directed by David Fincher, so I'm sure it's going to be good. But we're doing that next week. I honestly was not expecting you to pick this one at all, Zach. That was a last-minute addition to my list. I was like, oh yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah, you got to be careful. I think 2 of my last-minute ads have been picked.
Yeah.
So I think those last-minute, because they usually turn out to be a little different from the other ones, they stand out a bit more.
Yeah.
You know?
Less
and
time
all this
to think
talk
about
of
it.
doomsday prepping, I was like, whoa, that's pretty crazy.
So next week, 2002's Panic Room. I don't know what to expect, but I'm looking forward to it, Zach. How about you?
Yeah, that's cool. I like it.
Yeah, a little bit something a little bit different there.
I like to see more of Jane Foster. I think she was really good in this film.
Agree.
So I'm hoping she's good in this.
I agree. And I want to see Jared Leto die, hopefully, in the movie. That'd be good.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. All right, that's next week. How do we end the show
Well, we put
again?
you back in the
Get
hole.
in the hole.
Yeah,
it puts itself in the hole in the ground, or it gets the hose.
Not the hose.
Or it gets the sneezing clipped.
Alright, yeah. Oh, we clip you sneezing.
Yeah, get in the hole or I'll post feet pics.
Yeah, okay. I'll make you a wiki feet. Get in the hole.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me, though.
That's fine.
I'm gonna leave now, and you can just stay in the hole in the ground.
Oh, I'm stuck here now forever.
Okay.
Oh yes, it was our pleasure to have you, and now we shall have you. We're gonna eat you.
I've been eaten alive
because it's cannibals. Get it?
Yeah,
that was funny.
Thank you. I didn't do the joke. Why did I say thank you?